I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today,
Yeah.
male, they think and act like a woman. They're emotional, they are mentally off, they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Whoa, Jesse, we got it. That's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot.
They
Hold on.
agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an idiot.
Because you're asking bizarre questions.
You're
and not
acting
answering
like an
any of them.
idiot, and you're wasting my time. I appreciate you coming. All right, thank you for coming.
So you know
Goodbye.
that.
Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive, are weak people.
All right, welcome everybody. We are standing by for Joe Biden, who is going to be addressing the nation in advance of the end of the year holiday. We have Christmas coming up. Hanukkah is over, New Year's, etc., etc. Joe Biden received his first dose of the vaccine yesterday. Dr. Anthony Fauci was vaccinated today. I'll have video of that for you momentarily. And at this point, I know he's just president-elect, but isn't he really the only president we have? And what I mean is Trump's missing. Trump, nothing on his schedule today, nothing yesterday, nothing the day before, nothing the day before. He met with his Secretary of Defense privately the day before. He signed something privately the day before. He had a private cabinet meeting the day before. Nothing. Lunch with Pence, etc. Trump's not even really the president at this point in time. Trump's gone. Although he did call into that completely wacky toilet paper Turning Point USA event that we watched some of last night. So maybe we will get to a little bit of that momentarily. But yes, we will be hearing from Joe Biden in a little bit. And I expect that he will comment on the pandemic. I expect he will comment on receiving the vaccine, and we're going to get a bunch of other things. Now, if you've been paying attention to Donald Trump's tweets, he's back to tweeting about massive dumps. The Democrats dumped hundreds of thousands of ballots in the swing states late in the evening. It was a rigged election. Still going this stuff. And as you can see, I'm right there, huge, massive dumps. And someone adding the low flow toilets made the situation even worse. Absolutely. I believe this tweet tells us a lot about why Donald Trump is finding himself having to flush 10 to 15 times. So Donald Trump is tweeting. He absolutely is tweeting. Let's make sure we have audio up here, just so we don't miss when things get going. I did want to go over a couple of things with you. Here is Mike Pence speaking at the Turning Point USA event just moments ago. He's talking like Trump could still get another term. Take a look.
And as our election contest continues,
continues.
I'll make you a promise. We're going to keep fighting until every legal vote is counted.
That's happened. We've got the votes.
We're going to keep fighting until every illegal vote is thrown out.
That's happened.
We're going to win Georgia. We're going to save America.
No, you're not, dude. Biden won Georgia.
And we'll never stop fighting to make America great again.
Okay, so there's that. Super chats. There's no super. Okay, I see someone's trolling me. Someone's trying to make me sad that there aren't any super chats. I will answer. People are like, why aren't you reading the super chats? Because there are none. Okay, I get it. There's no super chats yet, but we'll get to those. They also are introducing Charlie Kirk, who's like the putative head of this organization, with a completely insane hype. Just look at this.
I run the largest pro-American student organization in the country, fighting for the future of our republic. We will be a country that has its best
Check this out.
years ahead. We will build a future where America remains the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world. All of that is within our grasp.
Oof, cringing. The best part is him walking out looking very confused. Like, wait, what the hell? He seems as shocked by the hype as we are, interestingly enough. So that's pretty funny. And then one other thing was the Anthony Fauci vaccination video.
Thank you, Dr. Fauci, for coming today. Any last minute questions, concerns?
No.
All right. I'm gonna just scrunch up the ear.
Alpha Fauci.
Trying to get a good intramuscular injection here. Thanks for helping out.
Intramuscular.
Pinch.
Giga Chad Fauci strongly vaccinated. Trump missing.
There we go. Okay, super. Thank you so much.
All right, Dr. Fauci, thank you. And 2 thumbs up from
There it is. All right, Dr. Fauci, very, very strongly vaccinated there, and it is absolutely all happening. Okay, a few super chats. Rando Gee says, here, a super chat. David Abel says, here, another super chat. JD Numero Ocho says, hey, David, have a super chat for your troubles. All right, thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Sam Cedar accused you of using Dominion to steal subscribers from him on his show today. Hey, can people get me these clips? So I guess yesterday Sam had some kind of alpha male compilation, a mashup that was a parody of my beta male compilation. Can someone please send me that? And can someone also please send me the Sam Cedar Dominion claims about subs? I think it would be funny for me to do like a reaction video. People, we gained the most subscribers back in September when we got to 1 million, October. When we were playing up this fake war with Sam. So I think that could generate some good ancillary content. If people can get me those clips, I would appreciate it. Okay, what else did I have? Oh, thank you to JR Dubs, Cheeky Quest, The Proper Talent, Sir Gavin, Usgar, and Usgar. That is 5 people who grabbed Twitch Prime subs, which puts us at, okay, 0 plus 5. I can do this. 0 plus 5 is 5. No zeros to carry. It's 5. Very good. We got that. And I certainly will open the phone lines like I did yesterday if we get to 100 members and Twitch subs. Just a reminder, we are not stopping the count. I know there's people who want me to continue the count, and there's people who want me to stop the count on new members. We will continue. We will count all memberships. And yes, the coupon code Fresh Start does work, although we suspect Joe Biden's attorney general is going to put a stop to the discounts. Peggy says, you make my day, David. Thanks, Peggy. Ruben says, toss a coin to your Pac-Man, O Valley of Plenty. Nicole says, became a proud member a week and a half ago. Thank you so much for covering live announcements, addresses, etc. Appreciate that. Sam and War and a few people participating. Not to start something, but did you notice she didn't use gloves on the first patient, says Monique. I didn't notice that. I didn't see that. We'll have to review that maybe after. We also are standing by. This is video of, I guess, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas is getting the vaccine. It's all kind of crazy because this is the guy who said there's nothing to see here. So we'll keep an eye on that and maybe get back to it depending on what happens from the standpoint of timing with Joe Biden. All right. I have something really special for you guys today. Okay, but I want to make a deal. So I have, sometimes we play these different voicemails from our regular callers. They call in as characters. They call in with fake names. They call me 20 times. We all have a grand old time. Okay, I have a voicemail today. It's not from a character. It's not from a regular caller. This is one voicemail from one person giving what she believes is an accurate view of the world. And I believe she may espouse 10 conspiracy theories during this short voicemail. That's only 90 seconds. Okay. I'm saving this for the show for today's podcast, but I would be willing to do a David Pakman Show world exclusive premiere during this live stream if you guys are willing to help me count the conspiracy theories that are in this one voicemail. Can I get your commitment? And maybe if you think that this is really the craziest conspiracy voicemail you've ever heard, maybe you'll grab a subscription at joinpakman.com. Okay, but I won't hold you to that. Okay. And as you can see, Dennis here says, how have I not been arrested yet? My discounts are too criminal. That's true. That's absolutely true. There's no question about that whatsoever. All right, let's take a listen. Here's the challenge. Count the conspiracy theories in this voicemail. Here we go.
Hi, David. I'm a nurse myself. I live in Florida, and my name is Vivian, and I'd like to say that you are a fool. And
Sorry, conspiracies or lies. So like saying I'm a fool, if you don't believe I'm a fool, that would count as a lie. If you do believe I'm a fool, then she's telling the truth. Okay, I think I'm not a fool, so I'm going to count that as a lie.
The elections were fraud. Trump won by a landslide.
3.
This was all a confiscation to steal the election.
4.
From Trump. Biden is a crook.
5.
He is corrupt.
6.
So is his family, and so are a lot of members of the Democratic Party. They
7 and 8.
To the Chinese, for the most part, they don't
9.
really give a rat's butt about our country. Okay, so I am 100% agree with Trump. I think that interview with Kilmeade was excellent.
10.
And people like you and CNN and MSNBC and NBC and all your stations that basically report lies.
11.
Okay, and they shouldn't even be called reporters.
12.
Because you're all in the pockets of Soros, Bill Gates.
13.
People like him.
14.
All right, it's disgusting what you're doing to this country. And
15.
the fools that listen to you, that believe you, it's really a darn shame.
16.
You should be ashamed of yourself for calling yourself an American.
17.
People like you shouldn't even live in this country.
18.
Okay? Don't change our country. You've done enough harm with your stupid ass.
19. Oh my God. Holy shit. Yeah, okay, people are saying I should be ashamed. That's probably true. Some of the things that have happened on this program are shameful, but that's not why she said I should be ashamed. So I do think that number 17 does count. I have 19 lies or conspiracies in that 93-second voicemail. I think that's a record. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. My first listen, I saw only 9 lies or conspiracies. And people are saying she didn't mention the Jews. She mentioned George Soros, which is essentially mentioning the Jews. It's a catch-all now. When you say George, you betcha. Okay. ODWDinc was so impressed by that they have gifted 19 subscriptions on Twitch because there were 19 lies. I love that. I absolutely love that. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That is certainly a record. I've never seen anything like that. It's truly stunning. 19 lies and conspiracies in 93 seconds. That's what, 93 divided by 19. That's roughly a lie every 4 seconds. That's insane. Imagine if I gave her a 5-minute platform. She would probably be able to get hundreds. Those are Trump-like numbers. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, very good. So that's the most insane voicemail we've probably ever received. Do I prefer people sign up on Twitch or my website? Okay, listen, here's the deal. I've said this before. I love it when you sign up anywhere. Anywhere you sign up, I love. If I'm completely honest, we get the most when you sign up on our website. When you do these website signups, I'll even show you what it looks like. This is joinpacman.com. We keep all but 2% of every dollar. And if I put in the coupon code Fresh Start, you'll see what happens. My $6 a month subscription. Actually, I'm connected to this in a way that the coupon codes won't display. In any case, if I use the code Fresh Start, $6 becomes only $1.80. This is the best place to sign up. Okay. But we will take Bezos bucks for sure. We will take it all. We'll just wrap it all. Any large, massive dumps of memberships of any kind, we accept. That's the point. Okay. Very good. All right. But let me get the numbers updated. 1276. So that's 27 plus 5 is 32. Okay. Check my math. A few other super chats. Peter says, thanks for being a voice based in reality and truth in this insane world. Enjoy your show. Laura says, how much would people pay for her phone number to set her straight? Yeah, I'm not interested in doxing people. I do have that woman's phone number, but I would never even joke about doing that. Michigan Mama says, one misuse of a word, confiscation to steal the election. Yeah, that's not the only one. Sizixap says, hello from Netherlands. Can't wait until they throw out Perdue and Loeffler from the Senate and convict the Trump family and half of the GOP. Your expectations may be a little bit aggressive. I don't know about that. Melanie says, do you think Trump is going to continue to submit lawsuits and hold rallies after January 20th? Lawsuits, no. Rallies, maybe. Trump should pardon Pacman for illegal discounts. Yeah, I have my legal team trying to get a pardon from Trump. In fact, that's actually happening. MZF says, how will democracy work when the electorate consists less of informed voters I learned about in school and more of fans of political influencers? It's a big problem. And in fact, check out, I did a segment yesterday on the stream and did a longer segment on today's broadcast show about the sort of misunderstanding about what education and empiricism and science are. Abraham Friedman says, what happened to Tim Pool? Is he this desperate for attention? A la Glenn Greenwald, in your view? What happened to Tim? I don't know what happened to Tim. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I've mentioned before that I'm no longer in touch with Tim. We used to have sort of like a whoa, hold on a second. We talked privately, but then he sort of like went public with our private conversations. And I told him that when we talk privately, I don't think I'm talking to a reporter, that, I consider these private. And he said he doesn't believe in the Hillary Clinton difference between being a public and private person. And I was like, Tim, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm a different person privately and publicly. What I'm saying is if I have like a private, if I'm texting with you, I don't imagine that then you publicize the content of those texts. And he just disagreed. So I haven't spoken to him since. And he recently actually did try to send me some information about so-called voter fraud. And I just didn't write back because, again, I just, I don't have confidence that we're communicating privately. And it's just all kind of weird. So that's the backstory with Tim. But otherwise, I don't know what's been going on. I don't know what's been going on with Tim. You tell me. Do you think cannabis legalization is more of a possibility with the incoming administration? Much love. Decriminalization at the federal level, and I believe there will be more legalization at the state level. That's my sense of it. Okay, let me thank some new members. Kyle Mizrahi, love it. Number 33. Derek Smith, number 34. Andrew Stilson, number 35. Nina Young is number 36. Stephen Phillips, 37. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to have trouble with this. Is it Gis Viersma, number 38? I apologize if I butchered that. Tracy Smith, number 39. And Zachary Miller is new member number 40 at joinpacman.com. Also, thanks via Twitch to Dranoa, now here for 11 months. WC and who else? Carly Knight pushing us all the way to 43. If you're just joining us, we're standing by for Joe Biden with a reportedly major announcement from Delaware after getting his first vaccine dose in advance of the holiday super spreader events. We are starting to see now. Remember, my prediction was, and again, this is based on experts, not just me coming up with it. I believe we will see a case peak in early January, and that then with the weather starting to warm in some places and with the vaccine going out, cases will start to decline permanently. I believe that deaths will peak a few weeks after that. We are starting to see a bit of a rounding here in terms of cases, but that may be because of the weekend. We're going to continue following it, but we need to be very, very careful with what's going on at the end of the year. I'm guessing we're going to hear from Joe Biden a little bit about that. And meanwhile, Donald Trump still completely missing publicly, but is again tweeting about huge, massive dumps. The Democrats dumped hundreds of thousands of ballots in the swing states late in the evening. It was a rigged election. And maybe just for kicks, we'll do one massive dumps song just to get it on the record. I think it is good anytime that comes up.
By the biggest dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Okay, anyway. I think that's enough of that. But okay, very good. Let's continue. Angel says he wants to be new member number 69. Rusty wants to know if Fresh Start is a beta male hygiene product. No. How insane is it that Trump administration has yet to address the cyber attack? Well, Trump tweeted it was China. I mean, it wasn't, but that is that's something. Here's, by the way, I wanted to run this by you. I got a few emails from people saying that some YouTubers were recently analyzing my old interview that I did with white nationalist Richard Spencer. And folks had the idea of me kind of like reviewing that interview because it's been so many years now, just to see what my thoughts are about it. I don't know if that would be interesting for a live stream, to be perfectly frank. Like, I'm willing to do it, but I don't know that people want to sit through that. All right. Some people like it. Some people don't like the idea. Okay. Something to look into. Matthias says, hey, David, don't you think it's very likely that folks like Maria Bartiromo are paid a lot of money by Trump for putting this weird stuff out? No, I don't think Maria Bartiromo is a Trump sycophant because he pays her. I think she's well paid by Fox, and she likes access to Trump. She likes having a relationship with Trump, and that's why she's doing it. I don't think Trump is paying her. Do I think COVID-19 is actually a stomach virus with all of these massive dumps across the country? That's a question for a gastroenterologist. Yeah. Shannon says, I enjoy your interviews and would enjoy more some post-interview thoughts. What did you think about your discussion with Douglas Murray? I thought it was wholly unproductive, to be perfectly honest. I wish I had a different view. Samuel says, David, what's with these big, massive dumps of memberships? 1 second it's 2, the next it's 32. Where are they coming from? Nobody knows. Yeah, it's a fair question. It's a very fair question. I mean, just now we've got. Hold on a second. We might actually hit the goal. Let's look here. Let's take a look. Brock Willard is number 44. John Thames is number 45. Kelly Rogers is number 46. Cindy Thomas is number 47. Ashley YB is number 48. Michelle Dubois, 49. Amber Smith is number 50. Holly Hess is number 51. But there's more. B. Roggenkamp is number 52. Joel Dippert is number 53. And Jerome Lewis is number 54. Nicely done. Very nicely done. Beezus Christ says via Twitch, David, you need to start talking about economics in a more substantive name. A name? What? We need everyone to understand the ideological differences between conservatives, classical economists, and neoliberals, leftists, Keynesians. Yes. Listen, we do a lot of economics on the show. And, I will regularly explain concepts like what is the difference between fiscal and monetary policy? What are diminishing marginal returns? How do these? Yeah, I do what I can. I do what I can. I guess you mean in a more substantive way, Beezus? Okay, very good. Got it. Let's see. What else did I have here? Oh, do we want to see what's going on with oh, whoa, I don't know what this is. I guess Greg Abbott got his vaccine and that's it. So we're just standing by now for Joe Biden. And we'll make sure that we are in HD for everybody. Always want to be in HD. Very good. Thank you. Monique says, do you have plans to do another show with Jesse Lee Peterson? It's always fascinating to watch you keep your cool while talking to him. Yeah, I was supposed to be on his show. It's just all the same now, you know? It's like, how many times am I going to do it? I don't know. Will I live stream when I get the vaccine? Well, I'm probably going to get the vaccine at a CVS or Walgreens. And I don't know that they would appreciate live streaming in there. Plus, I guess I'd have to like mute when I'm giving my personal information. I don't know. That's complicated. I think I'd be more likely to film it and then later just put up a clip. People asking if I've heard from Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II about going to Atlanta this weekend. I did. So Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II has been canvassing in Georgia for Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. He very graciously invited me to participate this weekend or next week. No, not this weekend. He invited me to participate next weekend. I think it's great what he's doing. I graciously declined. I'm not traveling right now. I'm not getting on a plane right now. But I did tell him that I would gladly coordinate with him to stream while they are doing stuff. Let me see. Okay, I said, so Stephen asked me about going. I said, I'm not interested. I'm interested, but I'm not flying anywhere right now. Plus, I'm going to be away that weekend. But I would do a stream covering what you're doing. If you will have someone filming you and they can get me a video feed, I will simply stream showing what you're doing, encouraging people to phone bank, etc. Yeah, I would love to do that. And I've told Stephen and we're going to try to coordinate that. I think he's interested in doing that, but I'm not getting on a plane right now. And I have things going on over the new year. Yeah, safe things, very, very safe things going on. Okay. JF Gamby says, I'm glad it's on Soros these days. It gives us Freemasons a vacation. And by the way, stop disclosing your secret plots on YouTube. It's not fair. Thanks. Okay. Thank you. Do you think Trump will end up saying the Republican Party conspired with Biden to steal the election? He'll say some Republicans, and he's already including Georgia Governor Brian Kemp in that list. All right. Stefan says, is the cyber attack only one coming in from China and will soon be down to zero? Exactly, yeah. Can Dump Song be downloaded somewhere? Yeah, if so, okay, we'll get to that after because we've got Joe Biden here. Let's take a listen.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Strongly masked.
Before I take questions, I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. This has been one of the toughest years we've ever faced as a nation. and the pandemic, the economic crisis, calls for racial justice, historic and punishing wildfires and storms. So this season of reflection carries a much deeper meaning than it usually does. Over 320,000 lives lost to this virus. And Jill and I send our prayers, as I'm sure all of you do, to all who are facing this dark winter with an empty seat at the dinner table where a loved one used to sit and talk. And
shocking, he said Merry Christmas. Trump said Christmas would never be said if Biden won.
Times, through no fault of your own, I might add. Unable to sleep at night, weighed down with the worry of what tomorrow will bring for you and for your family. We're especially grateful for the healthcare workers on the front lines, the scientists, the researchers, the clinical trial participants on the front lines of the vaccine who deserve our thanks and who delivered us scientific breakthrough. And for all of you who have deployed family members in the military, we know what it's like. We know what that experience is like, how difficult it can be, especially at this time of the year. Our family knows your sacrifice, and our hearts are always with you. But keep the faith. Throughout this year, we had to forego many of our favorite holiday traditions we have as families, as communities, and as a country. For the Bidens, we usually have 20 to 25 family members over for Christmas dinner, and then the immediate family, 14 of our kids and grandkids and their spouses for coming down the stairs on Christmas morning, but not this year. Like we did over Thanksgiving, we all have to care enough for each other that we have to stay apart just a little bit longer. I know it's hard. We have a long way to go, but we're grateful that we've got the vaccine. And yesterday, in an effort to instill some confidence in the vaccine, I had my shot administered in public. And I got a chance to thank all those nurses and docs at Christiana Hospital for what they've been putting up with and doing for so long. I look forward to the second shot, and I have absolute confidence in the vaccine. But we're in short supply. Taking the vaccine from a vial into the arm of millions of Americans is one of the biggest operational challenges the United States has ever faced. We're 300 million people. And we're going to take many more months for that to happen. In the meantime, this pandemic rages on. Experts say things are going to get worse before they get better, notwithstanding the fact we have the vaccine. As you all know, we're averaging a death rate of close to 3,000 people a day. That means we're going to lose tens of thousands of more lives in the months to come. And the vaccine won't be able to stop that. So we'll still have to remain vigilant. We need everyone to mask up, stay socially distanced, avoid large gatherings, particularly inside. We need to work in a bipartisan way. That's the only way we're going to get through this in tough times. And we have our first hint and glimpse of bipartisanship. I applaud the Congress, their economic relief package that included funding for vaccine distribution, much needed temporary relief for workers, families, and small businesses. In this election, the American people made it clear they want us to reach across the aisle and work together on matters of national concern to get something done. And I believe that to be the case from the very beginning of my campaign, and I'm happy to see members of Congress heeding that message as well from their own constituents. Leaders in both House and Senate, both parties, deserve credit for making the hard compromises to get this done. But like all compromises, it's far from perfect. But it does provide vital relief at a critical moment. However, as I've said all along, this bill is just the first step, a down payment.
Let's hope.
In addressing the crises, more than one that we're in. There's a lot more work to do. Early next year, I'm going to put forward to the Congress my plans for what comes next. We'll need more help to fully distribute the vaccine. We're going to need more testing in order to be able to open our schools. We're going to need more funding to help firefighters and police, many of whom are being laid off as I speak. And the same with nurses, risking their lives on the front lines. The same for millions of hurting families who are unable to put food on the table, pay rent or the mortgage. Unemployment's extended for another 10 weeks. It's going to take a lot longer than that. But Congress did its job this week. And I can and I must ask them to do it again next year. But even with the changes in approach I'm going to put in place in late January, people are still going to be getting sick and dying from COVID. One thing I promise you about my leadership during this crisis, I'm going to tell it to you straight. I'm going to tell you the truth.
Shouldn't he be telling us everything will be fine on January 21? That's what Trump would do.
Our darkest days in the battle against COVID are ahead of us, not behind us.
Wow.
So we need to prepare ourselves to steel our spines. As frustrating it is to hear, it's going to take patience, persistence, and determination to beat this virus. There'll be no time to waste in taking the steps we need to turn this crisis around.
No malarkey there.
My administration will start to do its part on our first day in office with masking requirements, a new strategy for testing, accelerated protection, protective gear. And we're going to challenge Congress and the American people to step up immediately as well to do their part. As with the relief bill passed by Congress, there's another challenge which my administration will confront on a bipartisan basis: a massive cybersecurity breach against the U.S. companies, many of them, as well as federal agencies. And there's still so much we don't know, including the full scope of the breach or the extent of the damage it has caused. But we know this much: this attack constitutes a grave risk to our national security. It was carefully planned and carefully orchestrated. It was carried out by using sophisticated cyber tools. The attackers succeeded in catching the federal government off guard and unprepared. Foreign actors have been working this breach since late last year, at least last year, setting the landscape to compromise our systems, scraping up sensitive information from our world-class tech sector and from private businesses and from United States government agencies. The truth is this: the Trump administration failed to prioritize cybersecurity.
Well, yeah.
It did that from eliminating or downgrading cyber coordinators in both the White House and at the State Department, to firing the director of Cyberspace and Infrastructure Security Agency, to President Trump's irrational downplaying of the seriousness of this attack. Enough's enough. In an age when so much of our lives are conducted online, cyber attacks must be treated as a serious threat by our leadership at the highest levels. We can't let this go unanswered. That means making clear and publicly who is responsible for the attack and taking meaningful steps to hold them in account. Initial indications, including from Secretary Pompeo, Secretary of State, and Attorney General William Barr, suggest that Russia is responsible for this breach.
But Trump said it might be China.
It certainly fits Russia's long history of reckless, disruptive cyber activities. But the Trump administration needs to make an official attribution. This assault happened on Donald Trump's watch, when he wasn't watching.
Oh, boy.
It's still his responsibility as president to defend American interests for the next 4 weeks. But rest assured that even if he does not take it seriously, I will. While I'm disappointed by the response of President Trump, I was pleased to see leaders in both parties in the Congress speak out loudly and clearly on this attack. Again, I want to thank prominent Republicans in the Senate, particularly for speaking out. It's a sign that with the new administration, we can confront these threats on a bipartisan basis with a united front here at home.
Bipartisan, I'm not sure about. Mitch McConnell doesn't seem interested in this.
And a warning to our adversaries. In the meantime, The president's team for the next 4 weeks need to cooperate fully, which they haven't been doing, to share information that becomes available on both the impact and our response.
Good luck with that.
To ensure a smooth transition to protect the American people as administrations change. Over the next month, I intend to continue focusing on building my team so that the right people are in place on day one of my administration to take over this effort, to prioritize cybersecurity across the board. And I'll consult with experts to plan for the steps that my administration will take in order to secure our systems, improve our cyber defenses, and to better withstand future attacks that we know will come, and to impose cost on those who conduct them. And I fully expect bipartisan support from this based on what we've heard so far. Our adversaries are highly capable. Cyber threats are among the greatest threats to our global security in the 21st century. And I believe we have to treat them with the same seriousness of purpose that we treated threats of other unconventional weapons. We have to work with our allies to establish clear international rules and mechanisms to enforce them, and consequences for those countries that violate them. I want to close with this. As I look at the first of what will be millions of vaccinations going in the arms of Americans after hundreds of thousands of lives lost, a Congress finally passing an economic relief package after months and months of delay, and a new urgency for a bipartisan approach to cybersecurity after years of a president who refused to stand up to our adversaries and hold them accountable. I'm reminded of the quote of this season from a Jesuit priest named Alfred Delp. He wrote, quote, "Advent is a time for rousing." Delp believed that first we are shaken to our depths, and then we're ready for a season of hope. As a nation, we've certainly been shaken to our depths this year. Now it's time to awaken, to get moving, time for hope. We've gotten through tough times before in this nation. We'll get through these difficult times as well. And we'll do it by coming together, by working with one another, by being, you've heard me say many times, but we are at our best, the United States of America. There are certain things that rise way above partisan differences that threaten the United States. There are national security interests that require us to cooperate. And I'm confident we'll be able to do that. After a year of pain and loss, it's time to unite, to heal, to rebuild. For all those who are suffering right now, who've had enormous loss, and lie awake at night wondering what tomorrow's bring, I'd say, well, God bless you all, and I promise you, we're going to continue to push as hard as we can to finish the job. May God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you all.
Whoa.
Now I'll be happy to take some questions.
Questions?
Megan, I'll let you tell me who's...
Thank you, Mr. President-elect. President Obama once referred to this emerging cyber battlefield as the Wild West. President Trump, in commenting on this most recent breach, said the situation was well under control. Given what you just said about this, that it represents a grave risk, do you believe it also represents an act of war, and will you respond in kind if so?
The answer is, first of all, it is a grave risk, and it continues. I see no evidence that it's under control. I've seen none. Heard of none. Defense Department won't even brief us on many things. So I know of nothing that suggests it's under control. This president hasn't even identified who's responsible yet. Number two, the question of the damage done remains to be determined. We have to look at very closely the nature of the breaches, how extensive they are, and what damage has been done. And thirdly, there's going to be a necessity as President Obama and I and our administration talked about. We need international rules of the road on cybersecurity. We have to bring along our allies and our friends so we hold everyone accountable who breaches any of these basic fundamental rules. And lastly, I believe that when I learn the extent of the damage and, in fact, who is formally responsible, they can be assured that we will respond, and probably respond in kind. There's many options which I will not discuss now.
Why not lay out those kind of options publicly, though? Isn't part
He's
of
not
the
even
issue
president yet.
deterrence
Why
and the
would
fact
he?
that Russia felt some impunity if it is indeed Russia to do what they've done here?
We have
Just not the time really for that.
done that in any other areas where we have faced international crises. We don't sit here and say that we're going to strike you with a nuclear weapon. We don't sit and we're going to say and so on. Let us determine what the extent of the damage is, and I promise you, there'll be a response.
On another issue, sir, as you know, the runoff elections in Georgia could well determine whether there
Shouldn't Biden be kicking the reporter out for asking follow-ups?
in January. Are you waiting for the outcome of those two races to make some of the final selections for your cabinet, including the Attorney General, the most significant, outstanding cabinet secretary you have to pick?
No, not based on the Attorney General. It's just a matter of getting to it and through it and being able to announce them all. They'll all be announced either just before.
The investigation of your
What the
son come
heck?
up in discussions with your team and with potential
What just happened there?
candidates about
No.
Attorney General.
No, I guarantee you I'm going to do what I said.
That was weird.
The Attorney General of the United States of America is not the president's lawyer. I will appoint someone who I expect to enforce the law as the law is written, not guided by me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect. There is growing concern today about that new variant of COVID-19 sweeping across the UK. Should the United States right now impose a travel ban on flights coming in from the UK?
As you know, there already is one, unrelated to that finding that new strain. And the question is whether or not, at the very least, it only allows Americans coming home to be able to come back to the States, citizens. One of the things I'm waiting to get a response from my COVID team is whether or not we should require testing before they get on an aircraft to fly home, number one. And number two, when they get home, should they quarantine? That's my instinct, but I'm waiting to hear from my experts right now.
You talked about how you want to propose a new COVID relief plan when you do take office.
Yes.
It took more than 6 months for Congress to reach this new deal. Americans are suffering at this moment. How can you assure Americans that relief will come and come soon?
You all asked the most interesting questions. Have you ever known anyone in the history of the United States of America that could be president and assure exactly what the Congress is going to do? So I can't assure anything, but I can tell you what I expect.
Fair.
I fully expect on those critical issues that we're facing, number one, being able to get all the work we need done and all the funding to be able to get that vaccine in everyone's arm, and that's 300 million people. We'll get that done because you're going to see that the responsibility has already been recognized by the Republicans and Democrats in the Congress because the constituency is going to demand it, number one. Number two, all those people are out there hurting and lost jobs for no fault of their own. They've extended unemployment for 10 weeks. Simply not sufficient. Necessary to get it done, to get through the holidays, but I predict to you we'll get cooperation and get that done. I've been arguing from the very beginning and told how, I love it, it makes me sound so much younger, how naive I am about how the Congress works. I think I've been proven right across the board. The things that are left to deal with, from employment to people needing unemployment insurance, to the ability to have access to health care, the ability to get the treatment for free, et cetera, all of that is something that the public is not going to stand for us not doing. And I think with Donald Trump not in the way, that will also enhance the prospect of things getting done.
That's true.
Will your plan include a new round of stimulus checks to the American people? And if
Yes.
so, for how much?
Well, look, that's a negotiating issue, but it will. Yes, it will. And I think, by the way, I think we owe Bernie Sanders and his Republican colleagues thanks for getting not all the stimulus we looked for, 1,200, but getting 600 done. So I think you're seeing that there is a clear understanding that these issues go beyond any ideology. People are desperately hurting, and the Republicans are hurting as badly as Democrats. There are a few people, and I'm not saying they're responsible for any of this, a few people are doing extremely well in that K-shaped recovery, and they're doing fine, but they still need access to the vaccines. They still need access to making sure that we are able to handle crises in the hospitals, et cetera. So I think they're on the things relating to vaccine distribution, which is going to cost billions more dollars. It's simply going to cost billions more dollars. We need national standards to lay out to help governors determine how they're going to get that vaccine throughout their communities, number one. Number two, we're going to need to take care of those people who, through no fault of their own, are unemployed. They've worked like hell, but they have no job because of the COVID crisis. And thirdly, we're going to have to begin to rebuild the country. We can't wait. We can't wait to rebuild the economy. We're going to have to start doing that now on infrastructure programs and a whole range of other things. I think the sort of the dawn is broken on the vast majority of people. There are still people who don't want to help. There are still people who are insisting my way or the highway. But the vast majority of the members of Congress, I believe, will be able to work out those specific issues that are of national consequence.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Whoa, huge glass, picked it up with one hand. That's crazy.
I'm still not sure if I heard you say specifically, though, sir, what is your ask of the Congress? In just 1 month's time, what is your ask of the Congress after you have watched over these many months when people in your party as well did not necessarily act as quickly as some Americans would have liked? What is your ask, sir?
I think that's Jeff Zeleny.
Will be laid out there in detail, but it relates to four things. Number one, making sure we have all the money we need to get the vaccine to 300 million Americans.
Yeah, it's a little like I love the pressing of any president on details, but it's like he said it will include money and enhance unemployment. He can't really say how much until he's in there and he sees the situation and sees what I mean. If you're like, we're going to give everybody $13.50, like, of course he's not going to say that.
Engage in food shortages. They're not in a position where they get thrown out of their homes. I would also be asking for a moratorium on being evicted from your homes for failure to pay rent. Moratoriums on relating to the issue of whether or not your mortgage are being paid. Thirdly, I think it's critically important we provide all of the PPE as well as the direct payments to small businesses and others to be able to stay open, to be able to keep their people employed. That is something that's going to increase as time moves. And lastly, we're going to need to make sure that we're in a position that we can provide for the opportunity for people to begin to go back to work and get new jobs, developing infrastructure.
Given the narrow majorities in the House and Senate, you've watched many administrations come and go. Do you believe that you will have a honeymoon to get things accomplished?
I don't think it's a honeymoon at all. I think it's a nightmare that everybody's going through, and they all say it's got to end. It's not a honeymoon. They're not doing me a favor. I'll ask you a rhetorical question I don't expect you to answer, and that is, do you think that Republicans who are losing their businesses, do you think Republican constituents out there who can't pay their mortgage, do you think they're not letting their Republican representatives know they got a problem? Do you think the person who just lost a family member and is worried about losing another one who happens to be a Republican, a staunch Republican, isn't telling his or her Republican senator or state representative, you've got to help, you've got to get something done? Do you think all those people who are making judgments of whether or not my child will be able to go to school and I have to stay home and I can't go to work, therefore I have no income, are all Democrats? I think there's just been a dawning here. And look, you have a different team in town. You have a different team in town. I'm not going to villainize the opposition. But I'm going to stand and say this is what we got to do because they know it.
It's great not to villainize, but he shouldn't naively think Mitch McConnell will work with him.
We want to make sure that we are going to sign a new trade agreement with A, B, or C. This is life and death. That's why I believe we'll get it done.
Sir, if I could ask a follow-up to the Attorney General decision. You and President Obama selected Eric Holder on December 1st. Every recent president has selected their Attorney General by this point. What is taking you so long to make this critical decision? And do you believe that this is a time in the post-Trump era where you need someone who is not steeped in politics?
These are fair questions. I see people upset. This is called journalism, guys.
The answer is, first of all, we've gone faster than everybody in the total cabinet. So we...
not President Obama and yourself, sir.
The whole cabinet?
The whole cabinet.
Whole cabinet?
Well, there were a few missteps on commerce, as you remember, but...
I do. I didn't want to raise them, though. Right. But look, this is...
I know nasty question is joking, but there's other comments that seem to be serious.
Who will instill the greatest confidence in the professionals at DOJ to know once again that there is no politics. There's no politics. As you know, there's been a great debate about in every single appointment whether or not there are enough African Americans, enough Hispanics, enough Asian Pacific Americans, enough people who are new and young. So we're just working through it. It's not by design. There's not an obvious choice in my mind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hi, Mr. President-elect.
Hey.
You just spoke about your confidence that it'll be possible to get things done once President Trump has left office.
Not just because he's left office, because it's all becoming obvious exactly what's at stake.
Right. But even so, are you concerned about the effects long-term that his presidency and now in the transition, his refusal to concede, his challenges to the election will have on American politics, will have on the Republican Party, especially if he does take the step of filing for re-election next month, or run in 2024? Are you concerned about him lingering around? I know I see you smiling, but I still have to ask it. And kind of a corollary to that, would you consider filing for re-election early next year to show that you're not going to be a lame duck?
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to be a lame duck. Just watch me. Just watch me. I've been saying this from the very beginning. Look, let's just get the work from this point on for the next several years. There is one objective, and it's not my political future. It's bettering the circumstances for the average American. That's what it's all about. And I want to communicate to the American people what I hope they already understand about me. It's about them. It's not about me. It's not about me.
Still, do you think that the climate will be different after President Trump than it was before?
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fortune teller, but I can tell you that the calls I've gotten from sitting Republicans in powerful positions, they know me. They know I level with them. They know I never mislead. They know I tell them the truth. And they know I don't go out of my way to try to embarrass.
And in terms of the transition, are there areas where the Trump team has not been cooperative that have not been made public? We've heard a bit about the issues at the Pentagon last week. Are there other areas that you think the public should be aware of?
There are other areas. I'm not sure it's relevant whether the public should be aware of. Look, what I'm trying to do is pull together the political parties that are in the Congress that know that we're facing 4 serious crises. And we have to address all of them. None of us can get all we want, but we can make real progress. And so my focus is on uniting, not emphasizing the divisions. Thank you.
Thanks.
Who's back there?
Thank you, Mr. President-elect. Russia, as you said, is suspected of carrying out this massive cyber hack. You said it happened under President Donald Trump's watch, but of course in January 21, it will then, of course, land on your doorstep. My question is, what are the...
Let's get something straight. Will land on my doorstep. His failure will land on my doorstep.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
What are the practical implications of overseeing a government where experts say it could take years to know where the hackers went and years to remove them? How can you ensure that the systems will be safe given what experts are saying?
I can't ensure, but I can demand, based on the experts both here and among our allies, what is needed to find that out. It may cost literally billions of dollars to secure our cyberspace. It may take a great deal to get it done. First and foremost, it takes people who are knowledgeable and vigilant about what is happening and how it's happening. And so I'm just going to do all that need be done to determine, A, the extent of the damage, B, the nature of how it occurred, C, what I should be doing internally in terms of my administration to protect against it in the future, and number 4, getting together with our allies to try to set up an international system of what constitutes appropriate behavior in cyberspace and get us all to get to the point where we all hold any other country liable for their breaking out of those basic rules.
And just to be clear at the top of that, did you say you couldn't ensure that the systems would be safe when you came into office then?
Of course I can't. I don't know what the state of them is. They're clearly not safe right now. And then
shouldn't he be using the same platitudes as everybody else?
Being able to garner all the information, the extent and depth of the violations, exactly how the codes or how it were breached, what was done, is not within my power to do that. But it will be an overwhelming focus for my administration.
And my other question is on immigration.
Yes.
I was just reading about the fact that officials in your transition, Jake Sullivan, Susan Rice, they say you won't be immediately rolling back Trump immigration policies. And I stress immediately. There are some immigration advocates who say, why not roll back the Remain in Mexico policy? Why not roll back the asylum restrictions? What is your timeline for rolling back some of the specific Trump administration
Good
immigration
question.
policies?
Excellent question.
We've already started discussing these issues with the President of Mexico and our friends in Latin America. And the timeline is to do it so that we, in fact, make it better, not worse. The last thing we need is to say we're going to stop immediately the access to asylum the way it's being run now and end up with 2 million people on our border. It's a matter of setting up the guardrails so we can move in the direction. I will accomplish what I said I would do. A much more humane policy based on family unification, but it requires getting a lot in place and requires getting the funding to get it in place, including just asylum judges, for example. So it's a matter of it will get done, and it will get done quickly, but it's not going to be able to be done on day one, lift every restriction that exists and find out that, and go back to what it was 20 years ago, and all of a sudden find out we have a crisis on our hand that complicates what we're trying to do.
Would you say to immigration, what would you say to immigration advocates then who say maybe you're possibly dragging your feet and it might take too long? It sounds like you're saying you need to be patient.
Look at me. I've never told them anything I haven't done. I'm working with them now. We're dealing with some of those very organizations as we speak. And I will do what I said. It's going to take not day one, it's going to take probably the next 6 months to put that in place.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you.
Wow.
Do you still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation?
A Hunter Biden story there popped in.
Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony. Thank you. I promise you, my Justice Department will be totally on its own, making its judgments about how they should proceed. Thank you.
Wow. Oh, wow. Could that possibly be more different than how? So this guy at every event wants to ask him about articles about Hunter Biden from October. And instead of throwing him out, Biden says, God love you, and says, the Justice Department will investigate it and I'm going to have nothing to do with it. and they'll determine whether they need to do something about the tax lien on Hunter Biden or not. That is really, I mean, listen, I have disagreements with some of the things he said on policy. Like, I think some of the immigration stuff could be done on day one while being careful that with an executive order, you don't end up making the situation worse because the system's not ready for. Okay. I think some things could be done on day one. I think some things will take 6 months, maybe even 9 months. But he's answering the questions directly, and he seems to be realistic in terms of what could be done on a certain timeline and what cannot. I think that was very interesting and sort of a different feel. And by the way, didn't he say Merry Christmas like a dozen times? Wasn't Donald Trump telling us that Merry Christmas is over if Donald Trump loses and Joe Biden wins? I don't know that I've heard more Merry Christmases during a presidential briefing. I haven't heard it from Trump. I haven't heard it from Marga Nanny. And I don't care one way or the other. I mean, listen, Hanukkah's over and Christmas is next. I don't celebrate. What do I care? Okay. Very, very good. Excellent. So an interesting event, and hopefully we will get more of these. Thank you for joining me. If you are watching on YouTube, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button. It's free. We are at 1.2 million subscribers. Can you imagine? That's insane. It's insane. And if you're watching on Twitch, make sure to give us a follow. We are now more than 2/3 of the way to 100,000 over on Twitch. Thanks for joining me. And I will be back very, very soon with everybody.